My father had one rule: be home by 6 p.m., no exceptions. When he died, I finally found out why. He passed 3 weeks ago from a heart attack in his sleep, and I flew home to clean out his house. The same house I grew up in, the same house I couldn't wait to escape. I thought I'd be in and out in a weekend. I was wrong. Growing up, the 6 p.m. curfew was absolute and non-negotiable. The one thing my father would never bend on, no matter how much I begged or screamed or cried. Other kids had curfews of 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or no curfew at all. Mine was 6 p.m. every single day, all year round, summer and winter, weekdays and weekends, no exceptions ever. If I was late, even by 5 minutes, he would completely lose his mind. Once I was 10 minutes late because I got a flat tire on my bike and had to walk it home. He didn't let me leave the house for a month. I missed birthday parties and school dances and football games and sleepovers. My friends stopped inviting me places because I always had to leave early, always had to be the first one gone while everyone else stayed and had fun. He told me the world was dangerous after dark, that bad things happened to young girls who weren't careful, that he was keeping me safe because he loved me. I thought he was paranoid and overprotective, maybe mentally ill. I resented him my whole childhood and moved across the country the day I turned 18. I barely spoke to him for years because talking to him reminded me of all those years I spent trapped. Now I was back in his house packing up his things, and that's when I found the door. It was in the basement behind a metal shelf I'd never thought to move. The shelf was bolted to the floor, but the bolts were loose, and when I pulled it aside, I saw a door with 3 deadbolts on it. I found the key in his nightstand drawer, hidden inside a hollowed-out book. My hands were shaking when I unlocked the first bolt, then the second, then the third. The door swung open, and I smelled something stale and old. I turned on my phone flashlight and stepped inside. The walls were covered in photographs, women's faces, dozens of them, taken from far away like someone had been watching them without them knowing. A blonde woman getting out of her car, a brunette jogging on a trail, a redhead walking her dog at dusk. Under each photo were notes in my father's handwriting: her name, her address, what time she left for work, what time she got home, whether she lived alone, whether she had a dog, whether anyone would notice if she disappeared. I moved to the next wall and saw newspaper clippings. Local woman missing since Tuesday. Search continues for mother of 2. Third disappearance in 6 months baffles police. I recognize these headlines. These were women from my hometown who vanished when I was growing up. Women the police never found. 8 of them over 20 years. I saw a shelf with small boxes on it, each one labeled with a date. I opened one and found a pair of earrings. I opened another and found a lock of hair tied with a rubber band. I opened a third and found a driver's license. The woman in the photo was smiling. Her name was Jennifer Holloway, and according to the clipping on the wall, she disappeared in 2009. She was 26, and she had a 3-year-old son. I dropped the box and stepped back. I found a journal on a small desk, and I didn't want to open it, but I did. The first entry described following a woman for 3 weeks, learning her patterns, waiting for the right night. He wrote about how she begged. He wrote about how long it took. He wrote about where he buried her. He wrote about how he felt afterward, calm and clean, like a fever had broken. Every entry was like this: detailed, methodical, proud. All 8 women disappeared at night, between 7 p.m. and midnight. I stood there surrounded by evidence of what my father really was, and suddenly the curfew made perfect sense. 6 p.m. meant I was always in my room before he went out. He made me text him when I got home so he knew the house was clear. He checked on me every night before he left, not before bed. All those years I thought he was paranoid about the world being dangerous. He wasn't protecting me from the monsters out there. He was the monster, and the curfew made sure I'd never see him leave, never see him come home, never see what he looked like when he came back from doing what he did. I found a photograph of myself in the back of the journal. On the back he'd written, "She will never know. I love her too much for that." I called the police. The FBI found remains on a property my father owned 2 counties over. They confirmed 6 of the 8 women so far. My father was a monster who killed people for 20 years. He was also the man who packed my lunches and taught me to ride a bike and cried at my high school graduation. I don't know how to hold both of those things in my head at the same time. I'm not sure I ever will.